Recording. Okay, good morning, everyone. We've a number of people just joining in there still, so we just give it another few seconds just for everyone to get on board. Okay, looks like we've good numbers there now. So good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining this session this morning. It's great to see another round of this online retail scheme grant funding opening in the last 2 weeks. Since then, we've had lots of interest from existing AB Commerce retailers and also from some new retailers looking to come on board with the AB Commerce platform. So with that in mind, we wanted to put together a brief presentation on how the funding call works and what Magico and AB Commerce can do to support you in your application. So we'll get the session underway. Okay. So what is this funding call and what is it looking to support? So this fund is administered by Enterprise Ireland on behalf of the Department of Education, Trade and Employment. And this round has a total fund size of 3.4 million, which is a big pot, but significantly smaller than last year's round, which was over 9 million. So yes, last year's call was a much larger pot, but despite that, the money, or despite, I suppose, all the money available, it was still a very competitive funding call. So obviously this pot is much smaller this year, so I would expect this round to be no different. It will be quite competitive. EI hosted an information webinar yesterday, and they mentioned that to date 212 retailers have been supported by this grant process. So it's a great opportunity, and we've worked with quite a lot of retailers over the last number of years in their applications, and they've been successful in getting them. So we'd be delighted to work with anybody who's now interested in applying for this round. So the purpose of the fund is to help Irish-based retailers to support their digitalisation, I suppose, to respond to both domestic and international consumer demand for online shopping. It aims to strengthen small retailers in finding and retaining customers within their existing infrastructure, something that everyone struggles with, acquiring customers and retaining them. It aims to protect your physical operation by enabling growth through the online channel, and it aims to support a capability for building digital skills within the internal team, which is very important, and hopefully to create new roles as well within the business in e-commerce and in the supporting activities. So what funding is available? So successful applicants will be awarded funding to support a maximum of 50% of the project eligible costs of a €50,000 project, with a maximum grant there of €25,000. Again, this is a change to last year, where the first time round successful applicants were awarded 80% funding. Everybody across the board now will only receive 50% funding. The minimum project expenditure is €20,000, and applications with expenditure below €20,000 will be considered ineligible. And the maximum project expenditure is €50,000, again, a reduction on the previous round, which would have had a max project cost of €80,000. So some slight changes in this round. Looking at some of the important dates, so the fund, the call opened on Tuesday, the 4th of April. Applications need to be submitted by Wednesday, the 3rd of May at 12 noon, and that's a real hard stop. That's just 2 weeks from today. So we're already 2 weeks into the process, just 2 weeks remaining. So if it is something that you're interested in pursuing, time is of the essence, really. As part of the application submission, you do need to submit financial accounts as well, and they need to be submitted no later than Wednesday the 3rd, so that today 2 weeks at 5:30 p.m. So you have a little bit of breathing space there, but again, as EI said in their webinar yesterday, don't leave it until the deadline, because it has caught out a lot of retailers in the past. Enterprise Ireland have said they will inform successful retailers in early July, and the final claim deadlines, so that period of time between which you have to get all of your work done, is between the 3rd of May and the 3rd of November. So you have that amount of time to get everything executed and completed. So it's quite a short turnaround, but quite similar to other years. Okay, so who is eligible? Well, all of the details of eligibility are available on enterprise-ireland.com/retail. There's a dedicated page there on the Enterprise Ireland site for the online retail scheme. There's quite a lot of detail there around the eligibility criteria. EI delivered a webinar on the details of the funding call yesterday as well, and a recording of that webinar they have said will be available in the coming days on that link, enterprise-ireland.com/retail. But just in summary, you must be an Irish-based retail business registered with the CRO in Ireland. You must have an existing online presence. That can just be a social media presence, or it might just be an information website that you're now looking to make transactional. You must have a physical retail store. That one catches some people out. So you do need to have a physical retail store. If you sell products and services, the products you sell must account for more than 50% of your total revenue. And you must provide a breakdown of sales revenue showing that sales from B2C activities account for more than 50% of your total revenue. Again, particularly for those of you who might be in the hardware space, that's one to keep an eye on. You must employ at least 10 full-time employees, and details of how you calculate that. If you have some full and part-time staff, you'll find that also on that enterprise-ireland.com link /retail. You can apply if you've been awarded the online retail scheme grant once only, but you must propose a clearly different project to that undertaken in your previous approval. You are not eligible if you've been successfully approved for the online retail scheme grant twice already. And you must show an ambition to export or sell overseas to customers, even if that's not now, that you show an intention to do that in the future. Okay, so what is covered? So the grant kind of covers 3 different areas, and we'll talk about them now. So first of all, the fees. So the grant will cover fees of an established external service provider, that would be Magico and AB Commerce, to develop a retail strategy to further develop and enhance your company's transactional website or your online presence. Enterprise Ireland stressed the importance yesterday that while the grant will cover services and that development of your digital marketing strategy, the introduction of additional functionality to enhance your online trading is also quite important. And the max cost per day for those fees is €900 per day. The other important cost that the grant covers is internal champion costs, the salary cost of your internal champion, who will be an individual, either at manager level or supported by the management team in their work on the project with an external service provider. So the max cost for that individual would be €200 per day. So you can claim for any fees incurred between the 3rd of May and the grant close date of the 3rd of May and the claim close date, which is the 3rd of November. We've done a quick tot on that. So if you were to claim for 3 days, 22 weeks at €200, you'd be claiming for €13,200 for the costs of an internal champion. It's important as well, stipulation that your internal champion costs are not more than 50% of your grant claim. And in terms of the activities then you can claim for, you can, what you're looking to do is claim for activities that are going to upskill the in-house team to enable a company to develop and maintain a robust online retail operation. So any costs associated with that will be eligible. So it could be training for your CMS, it could be development of your e-marketing strategy, looking at and enhancing your catalogue management, your SEO costs for strategy development, enhancing your web functionality, reviewing your catalogue presentation, looking at streamlining your order fulfillment, and the whole customer experience implementation and development around that. So all of these activities are elements that can be covered, and we'll go into them in a little bit more detail in a minute. Along with mentioning what is covered, it's important to make you aware of what's not covered. So off-the-shelf software costs and software package licenses, they're not included. So also costs of hardware, so laptops, studio equipment, not eligible. Monthly subscriptions or fees, again, not eligible. That would include maybe your monthly AB Commerce fees or any subscription fees that you might be paying to some of your third-party personalization providers. Intelligent site search providers as well, so that they're not eligible. Your paid digital marketing budget for online advertising campaigns, so therefore your paid search campaigns or your paid Facebook or LinkedIn campaigns, that budget isn't eligible, but the service costs of a digital marketing agency to support you in the execution of those campaigns is, just not the actual spend itself. Also included in the eligibility criteria is your offline marketing activities. So you can't claim for costs of brochures, printing materials for events, vehicle signage. You can't claim for video and photography. Again, it's considered an existing cost that will be considered business as usual. And any expenditure incurred prior to the date you submit your application or post the 3rd of November is not eligible for support either. So all that's important to consider. Okay, so when it comes to the application itself, there are 5 core scoring areas on the application. And if Magico is supporting you on the application submission, we will provide content and costings for the first 3 sections above. So that's the strength of the project with well-defined objectives, 30%. It's the impact of the proposed changes on the competitive position and viability of the company, 30%. And it's also the ambition to internationalize the business, which is 15%. The rest of the application is specific to your business operations. So there's the internal champion there, 15%. They'll need information about the internal champion, and you'll have to provide costings for that, and also the company's financial record. So as I mentioned earlier, to make a valid application, companies must provide their latest statutory accounts. It can be no more than 2 years old, and there's a 10% weighting for the scoring of the company's financial record, which would include your historical profitability and other financial aspects of the company's trading history. Just going back to the internal champion, we regularly get questions on the internal project champion. It doesn't need to be a senior person, just an individual, either manager level or beyond, that's supported by the management team in their work in the project on a day-to-day basis with the external service provider. It's that person who's doing all of the day-to-day tasks on the site. And one of the objectives of the scheme is to support retailers in, I suppose, closing the digital skills gap and encouraging business to invest in building those in-house digital capabilities within the team. So that's why that's an important area of it. Okay, how to apply. So there's a couple of steps here. If you go to, I've provided a link there to enterprise-ireland.com/retail. There is a link to make an application on that page. When you create the account, choose the online retail scheme application. And step 3 is where people often go wrong. Ensure when you're creating the account that you select none. None in this case means that you're not a client of Enterprise Ireland. It might be difficult to read there on the screen, but you are not a client of Enterprise Ireland. So that they're the first 3 steps. The next thing then, which is important, is you will need to read the eligibility criteria that will be presented to you on the screen, and that you'll need to agree that you are compliant to all of the eligibility criteria that's been outlined. If you're not eligible, you will be disqualified. They are quite strict on that. As I said, it's a very competitive call, so they will disqualify anybody who is ineligible. The application process does take time, so do ensure you comply before you give all of that time to putting an application together. For those of you who are not familiar with the application form, it is a long form, and despite the fact that we support you on 75% of the content and the costings for the application, it still will take time for you and your team to complete it. So allow the time. We are just 2 weeks now from the deadline. I've downloaded a copy of the application form, and I'd be happy to share this with anyone after this call if you want to have a look at it. As I said, the application form must be received no later than 12 noon on the 3rd of May in order for your application to be deemed valid, and then with the account submitted no later than 5:30 on the 3rd of May also. Okay, so how can we add value? So Magico can support you to build an application that will cover some of the following activities. So for those of you who might be thinking about coming on board on AB Commerce, either going online for the first time or maybe migrating from another solution, we can onboard you onto the AB Commerce platform, and those costs, or the majority of those costs, can be included in your grant application. Your application could also cover the service costs of systems integration between AB Commerce and your EPOS or ERP. So that would be particularly for those retailers who be coming on board on AB Commerce for the first time. Thinking then of some of the retailers who might be already on board with AB Commerce, might be looking for this grant to support and enhance their existing online capabilities. There is a range of advanced paid upgrade capabilities that you may wish to consider. So things like, and some of you will have seen and heard about these at our Magico Retailer Summit. So things like the integration of outlet stock for multi-outlet retailers so that customers can check in-store stock availability on the product detail page. Some of you might be at a level where you want to optimize your order fulfillment approach using the Wave OMS integration with AB Commerce. Some of you might be looking to optimize your order fulfillment approach using the Scurry courier management platform. This would be for maybe some of our larger online retailers. Those of you who will be dealing with a large volume of returns, streamlining the internal administration using our returns modules, you might want to look at that as a paid upgrade. We could facilitate for those of you the design and implementation of an email marketing strategy via the Klaviyo email marketing platform or via MailChimp. So some of our retailers might be new enough to the online channel, you're underway with an acquisition strategy, but you're really not harnessing the opportunity to kind of retain customers through a very strategic email marketing approach. So that's something that we could support you to get in place. And for those of you who are thinking about loyalty, we could configure and support you to implement an online loyalty strategy via the Yopo loyalty platform or the Aspiral loyalty platform. Aspiral being a loyalty platform used by many of our pharmacy retailers. For those of you who are already online with us for a period of time, full graphic design, redesign of the outer of your site, homepage and category pages, you might be looking for a fresh new look and feel. And also then we have our retailer growth program. So we've been underway with our retailer growth program, supporting a number of our retailers in this through previous grant rounds. This program is perfect for the e-commerce team that's struggling to reach its full potential. Obviously, to successfully manage an online store, your e-commerce team needs to be experts in lots of different areas. You've got your online strategy, you're looking at your digital marketing, you're thinking about SEO, graphic design, customer service, catalog management, your fulfillment, and there's just so many more elements to it. And finding the right people and putting the right team together with the skill set that you need can be very much a struggle in this highly competitive environment. So the goal of the program is for you to use our team as an extension of your team, and for us to provide a very hands-on and practical approach to retailers to get on a journey to growth online and build all those fundamental building blocks. So our e-commerce success team, we dedicate a number of days a month to work with your team on practical and strategic tasks. So every month it would start with the digital marketing and e-commerce trading review. And that's where we deep dive into the numbers, what's selling, look at your categories, look at your products, and look at actually what's going on the last month. And from that, agree a set of actions for the month ahead. The Magico team would support you to execute then those actions and those tasks. So we take the learnings and the agreed actions from that trading review, and we feed those then into your content planning for what will be communicated on maybe your paid digital campaigns, what will be communicated on the online store and merchandised on the online store, what will be going into your email marketing, your social channels, all for the next month. The growth program could also include a review of your catalog management, support you with homepage design, product imagery, as we said, your email marketing setup, training, your mentorship around that. Maybe even a review of the configuration, review and maybe to configure some of the AB Commerce functionality that you're not currently optimizing. every retailer and their approach is very different, and your internal resource and the support that you need is different. So we devise a growth program that will very much focus on what you need to build that stable growth online. So that's something that I think would really help a lot of our existing retailers to really rocket launch, I suppose, their online operations. And finally, then, for some of you who would have come on board an AB Commerce platform recently and may just be, getting off the blocks in terms of driving forward with the growth plan, we do offer some digital marketing training. It's ideal for new retailers to the online channel, as we said, focused on educating your team on how to create a digital strategy, how to execute the ideal marketing mix, and how to report and analyze performance and give you that base level of knowledge. So that's your digital marketing fundamentals course. And there's also, for those of you who may be a little bit more advanced, there's the advanced SEO course, which is a 2-day course delivered in conjunction with SEO expert agency Creator SEO, John Caldwell, who many of you will have met at our recent AB Commerce Magico Summit, really talented in the area of SEO execution, and he supports retailers in taking them through all the elements that they need. So focuses on how to enhance your SEO and build a long-term organic success. So there are some of the areas that we can support you on, whether you're coming on board on the platform for the first time or whether you're already a retailer on AB Commerce. And obviously, they will make up some of your costs, what I've just spoken about. And then there's some other costs that will bolt on there as well to make up your applications. So obviously, if your internal champion costs, you might have as we said, the service cost of a digital marketing agency to support you in the execution of your campaigns. Again, you can't include your digital marketing spend, but the service costs you can. There might be some freelance graphic designer to support you on the ongoing update of homepage graphics, maybe copywriting, or some costs associated with your EPOS and ERP to provide the required files for systems integration if you haven't done that to date. So everyone's different, and we can build an application that suits you and what you need. Okay, so that brings us nearly to the end of today's session. I suppose next steps, if you are interested in putting forward an application, we've already spoken to a lot of retailers, both new and existing retailers already. If you haven't spoken to us as of yet, please do reach out to us and let us know before Friday. We're very conscious that we've only 2 weeks today to the application date, and it does take time with quite a lot of applications underway already. So do let us know as soon as you can. Organise a call with us to discuss the application, pop me an email, and I or Gillian will support you on a conversation to put together the fundamentals of what you would need to apply for. You can create an account on the Enterprise Ireland website and send us your login details. And once we've agreed everything with you, we can hop in there into your account and complete the necessary areas, and then you can jump in and we'll highlight what you need to complete. So that's the process that we use. So as I said, we have supported over 40 retailers in the past to achieve 1.5 million now via previous online retail scheme funding rounds. So we've done this a lot. This is the 5th round, so we've a fairly familiar with the process. We've supported applications for retailers starting out in their online journey, and those already live who wish to migrate to AB Commerce, and of course our retailers already in the AB Commerce but who are looking to accelerate their path to growth. So we can support any of you. So do let us know by Friday of this week if you do wish to proceed. And for those of you who missed it, a copy of the EI webinar, as I said, will be online by the end of the week, and we will also post a copy of this session on magico.com in the coming days as well. So if there's any questions that you wish to ask, if you want to pop them into the chat there or pop them into the Q&A box, by all means, I'll try and address them here on the call. And if not, you have my email address there, Cooney@magico.com. You can always pop me an email after this, and I can chat with you outside of this or give you a call. So I don't think there's any questions. So if there's no questions there now, I'm sure I'll be talking to you all individually anyway. Be sure to pop us an email, and thank you for joining us today. Hopefully you found that session useful. And yes, we'll talk to you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.